Welcome to another episode of Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here at the News Forum, where all voices matter. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business is launching an online education program to train businesses on how to improve cybersecurity. Here to discuss is Mandy D'Autremont. She is the Vice President of Marketing Partnerships. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
I guess the first question would be, how big a problem are these cyber attacks on Canadian businesses?
Well, they are an increasing problem. When we've surveyed our members, a majority, 72%, have told us that it's an increasing threat and problem that they're worried about in their business. And we've found that almost half have received random cyber attacks. So these are not attacks that are necessarily targeted specific to that business, but the businesses are receiving those threats directly into either their email, calls to their business. But there are many businesses too that have received targeted attacks. So almost a third, 27%, have received ones that are really specific to that business. So it is definitely a threat out there for any size of business.
And do you know how much in terms of the value of sort of lost income or hit on the economy? Is that something that you've calculated at all?
Well, we have looked at the impact on businesses themselves. 8% of businesses reported that last year, and these are small businesses, small, medium businesses, that 8% have been the victim of a successful cyber attack. So that means that the cyber criminals were able to break through their defenses and either lock down their business, ask for a ransom to re-access their data. So these businesses report a number of different impacts. It could be their operations, their reputation, and on average, the cost, including that lost time of business, is around $26,000 for these small and medium businesses, but it's varied. So many small businesses report much higher costs. We've had conversations with some that have lost as much as $1 million. So this is a real threat to businesses' bottom lines. And I think one of the really eye-opening elements on the true impact that cyber attacks can have on small businesses is that around 60% of small businesses that are victims of a cyber attack actually close down permanently within 6 months. So it's a real risk to that business that becomes a victim, and important for them to know what to do if they are attacked, but even more important to prevent becoming a victim.
Indeed, yeah, that's a big statistic there. You referenced the survey that you've done of your members. So what other findings did your survey basically come up with?
Sure. So we also looked at the different kinds of attacks that small businesses could become victims of, so that we can better understand where those threats are. And when it comes to the different kinds, one of the big risks for small businesses is whaling attempts. And what a whaling attempt is a cyber criminal using or trying to target specifically the business owner themselves. So they'll send some kind of communication that looks like it's directly supposed to be received by that business owner. And 11% of our members have said that they've received those kinds of attempts. And I think the point here is really that cyber criminals are innovating. It is their job to try to break into your business. So when they're doing that, they're going to try to find ways to make their attempts more personal, so that you will fall for their attempt. And those kind of attempts can go to employees, to the owner themselves, and they really just get more and more sophisticated as time goes on.
Yeah, so you can build up your walls, but the fact is it's a vicious circle. They're finding ways to evade your walls.
Yes, absolutely. So it's really important for a business to know how can they actually prevent the criminals from breaking in. And when we look at how and what is the main point is that 95% of all of cyber attack attempts that are successful, they're successful because of human error. So that means Businesses actually have a really good opportunity and ability to protect their business if they train themselves as well as their staff to know how to identify those threats and not click on that link.
Right.
It seems a little bit fishy.
We're going to get right to what the businesses should be doing. We're going to take a brief break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with Mandy D'Autremont. She is the Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Mandy, let's talk about, you've obviously done this quite extensive survey of business owners, members of the CFIB, and about cyber attacks. How is the CFIB responding to that?
Well, as we just discussed, 95% of the successful attacks are because of human error. So when we know that, the solution really comes down to getting better training or any training at all for small businesses for themselves and their employees. So what we did is we've actually partnered with MasterCard and their cybersecurity experts to build a whole suite of courses and a cybersecurity academy that is specific to small businesses. Cybersecurity is a topic that I think most people would check out of quite quickly because it's really complex. There's a lot of terminology that's very specific and technical. So we really wanted to create something together that would keep small businesses engaged, keep their staff engaged, and if they do that and they stick through all the courses, it's going to end up really protecting their business in a concrete way. So we've also created templates and tools as part of our new CFIB Cybersecurity Academy. So there's downloadable assets that businesses can start using, and one of the most important ones is a what's called a CERP, and that's a cybersecurity incident response plan. So it's basically a form that says, if you are attacked, here are all the steps that you need to take. Here's the person you need to call. Here are the staff that you need to make sure they update their passwords, etc. So there's real usable tools and very approachable courses for business owners to take on our new online academy.
Yeah, so delve a little bit more detail about the elements and the topics of this program.
Sure. So we start really at the basics, and cybersecurity training can get very advanced. So we really took that approach of making it accessible and easy and fun. So the courses that we've actually developed, we did it on an online platform where there's a little bit of gamification. So the really nice thing here is that business owners are going to be able to add all of their employees for free, and then see in a leaderboard the progress that their employees make in the courses. So what that means is they can encourage and track their employees, and also incentivize them. Do a little competition amongst your team, get them really engaged in it. And we've created a contest to incentivize people to complete the courses. And so we can talk about that a little bit more, but I want to get back to your question about what is the actual content in those courses. So in the first one, we're really focusing on the basics. So assuming that you're training maybe some staff who are brand new and fresh out of university or high school, what do they need to know? So it could be how to identify the kinds of attacks, how to make sure that your password is strong enough, how important patching really is for your business. And so patching means updating. When you get that prompt to update your security, it's really important to do that because cyber criminals will come after your business looking to see if you have made those updates because they know that's a vulnerability. And then also we talk about USBs and how to be more secure when using USBs because when we first started going in this journey of identifying what is the content that small business owners really need to know, I personally was very surprised to learn how USBs are really not secure in many ways. There are cyber criminals who could just drop off a USB in front of your business, and then they assume or are hoping that somebody who's very well intended will pick it up and want to plug it into their computer so that they can discover and find out who this belongs to and return it to them.
Oh.
But the second you plug that USB into your computer, you could actually be downloading a virus that locks you out of your computer immediately. And then you get a prompt and a request for paying ransom to get access back to your systems. So there's a lot of really great insights in that first course on how to identify and know what the risks to small businesses actually are. And then as we progress through the courses, we start talking a little bit more in depth on how you can actually protect your business. What are the systems you need in place? And we also have a full course on that SIRP, that incident response plan, on how to build one specifically for your business and fill out that template as you go through the course.
Fascinating stuff. We're going to take another brief break, though, and we'll be back with Mandy after that break. Mandy, a great explanation of the different elements of this cybersecurity program. Just wondering what the response has been so far.
So we have shared and invited CFIB members to the program, and I'm very happy to say that having just launched with it in the last month, we already have 450 members who have started the courses. So it's great to get that kind of reception just at the outset of the course. So our work now is to connect more CFIB members and the broader business community to these courses. And the goal is really to get as many businesses completing these courses and their employees as possible. So we have a few things that we plans to do that. We have a contest that we will be running and promoting over the next couple of months with $15,500 in prizes for business owners or their employees to win, with a $10,000 grand prize. And we're doing that because this is such an important way that businesses can protect their business. There's probably not likely to be another program like this where business owners and employees could actually win money for learning how to better protect their business. So I would encourage any business owner to get out there, use this opportunity to incentivize yourself, but also your staff, because it can really go a long way in protecting your business. And all they have to do is go to cfib.ca/cybersecurity, and they can immediately start registering and getting into those courses.
Yeah, and I must say that probably especially after COVID, we've seen the digitization of all aspects of business these days. So really, this is a problem that has so many aspects of it that are actually getting worse. Would that be fair to say?
That's definitely fair to say. It's also going to continue to increase because as more and more individuals out there become cyber criminals, they're looking for more ways to reach small businesses. But also, we did hear during the pandemic, with more businesses starting to sell online, that they are seeing that increased risk. So we do anticipate that this will continue to increase, especially as many small businesses, particularly with the shortage of labor right now, are looking toward automation as a solution for their business. So that just means more parts of your business are going to be connected to that Internet of Things. It could also be your security cameras that are in your business, or your refrigerator, or your printer, or some of those things that you may not have those automatic updates for. Those can become risks even for your business, where criminals can break into your network. So definitely, as we continue to become a more connected economy, and small businesses are a huge part of that risk will continue to increase.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Internet of Things has really opened up a whole new segment of ways that can be compromised, right?
Absolutely. So, and I think of security cameras. I think of, in general, any security system that you have in place. So, really making sure that you're diligent on paying attention to everything that is connected to your business. And I think also business owners may not always think about it, but your employees' technology. So if your employees are maybe accessing your internet in your business, if they're doing their work email on their personal email as well. So maybe they don't have a specific, because small businesses may not have their own email system set up. They communicate with their employees through their personal email. Those can be other points of risk. So it's really important to have your employees trained and know what not to click on and where those risks are.
Yeah, and are you trying to make these courses pretty easy to understand, right? Because it can be so specialized as to be almost incomprehensible, but it sounds like you're trying to make it as accessible as possible.
Absolutely. That was the number one thing that we were focused on, was really making this something that's easy to digest and making it fun to complete. So we also have videos in there. And really we tried our best to remove as much of that technical language as we could as possible and give those descriptions of real world examples of what these kinds of situations would look like in a small business specifically. And I think that's what we really kind of removed some of the mystery behind, or confusion that can happen, where a lot of the training out there often focuses on a bigger business.
Right,
But
right.
this is about, what does this look like for a small business, and what are the things that a small business needs to do to
Sure.
protect themselves.
We're going to take another brief break. Mandy, we'll be back with you after this. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with Mandy D'Autremont. She is the Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Mandy, obviously with the amount of research you've done to create this cybersecurity course and the actual surveys you've done of your members, I'm just wondering whether you are advocating for policy changes as a result of what you found out, or how does it connect with your kind of public policy advocating as well?
So on the public policy side, we certainly share all of these findings with government officials, with our team who is in Ottawa. I think when it comes to cybersecurity for small businesses, one of the things that's going to be increasingly important is that there's not excessive red tape added to small businesses. We're really looking at the solutions for small business in being about education and setting them up with the right resources and tools, versus government taking an approach of saying small businesses need to do all of this laundry list of items that may or may not actually be something that that specific business needs to do in order to reduce the risk of being attacked in their business. So we're really taking that red tape kind of lens to where the legislative side takes things.
Do you get the impression, you've obviously had conversations with a lot of businesses on this, are Canadian businesses particularly vulnerable, or is this just a general trend overall?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Canadian businesses are more at risk necessarily than other businesses. And I think that's especially true because of how tied we are with the U.S. economy as well. But the fact is that cyber criminals could be attacking a Canadian business from another country internationally. So I think when it comes to cybersecurity, there really aren't borders. Cyber criminals are going to look for whomever and whichever business they can access. So, and one of the things that I think is really important to note is that a small business is never too small to be at risk. The cyber criminals could be doing what they would call kind of like a random approach, where they're just putting out as much content as possible to try to see who might click on the wrong link.
Right.
But even if a small business thinks that they wouldn't be specifically targeted, they could be, not necessarily because of the information or value that they have in their business. It could be a door opened into one of their vendors or one of their customers, or they could be trying to access their employee information or other sensitive information. So cyber criminals don't really discriminate in that sense. They're really looking for whatever they can leverage, and sometimes small businesses could be a pathway to kind of a bigger fish. So even the smallest businesses really do need to take this threat seriously and do some cybersecurity training for themselves and their employees, and really know how to protect their business. And the other thing to remember is small businesses don't have to do it by themselves. There are other businesses out there that really specialize in IT support and cybersecurity support out there. So this doesn't need to be a really intimidating topic. They just need to start really having a focus on it. And I think the education and the training is the first place that they can start. So I would again recommend that any of your audience who are business owners or employees of a business, if you are you don't have cybersecurity training already done or planned this year, you really should get in touch with CFIB and start our training, because we are opening it up with partnership with MasterCard so that it can be free. We really take it that seriously, that cybersecurity is so important that we need to get it to as many business owners as possible.
We've got less than 30 seconds left. How should people be contacting CFIB to be part of this program?
Sure. So they should go to cfib.ca/cybersecurity, and they'll get connected with everything that they need to know.
Mandy D'Autremont, you are the Vice President of CFIB. Very interesting program here to tackle cybersecurity. Thanks for explaining it on my show today.
Thank you.
Yes, I would definitely recommend any small businesses to contact CFIB about this cybersecurity program. It's obviously very necessary, and they've got a great program in alliance with MasterCard. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this is helpful to a lot of people.